After facing 2 months of consumer backlash, Subway announced Friday that starting next week, their bread will be officially free of the infamous yoga mat chemical. Subway sandwich bread used to be made with azodicarbonamide, a chemical which strengthens and textures dough. Although the chemical is banned in Europe and Australia over health concerns, the FDA does allow small amounts of azodicarbonamide to be used in food. Food blogger Vani Hari first raised the issue with Subway back in February, noting the chemical is also used for creating foamed plastics like yoga mats and shoe soles. Hari started a petition which drew over 95,000 signatures calling for Subway to remove the chemical. In the face of this backlash, Subway told consumers it was already in the process of phasing the yoga mat chemical out of the bread recipe, and Friday a Subway rep confirmed the chemical should be gone from all Subway restaurants by next week. But Hari still isn't impressed with the restaurant's new bread formula. She told NBC Subway's still off the menu for now. The FDA is allowing thousands of chemicals in our food that haven't been tested in 3 decades, and we don't know their cumulative effect. It takes 5 ingredients to make bread. When they start doing that, that's when I'll start eating there again. And consumers looking to avoid the yoga mat chemical might have a hard time. The Environmental Working Group notes azodicarbonamide is used in at least 500 different food products. For Newsy, I'm Candace Avilés.
Company removing an ingredient from some of the fresh bread that they bake. That ingredient also used in yoga mats and shoes. All right, well, Subway, which bills itself as the fresh alternative, says the change was already in the works even before the petition was launched this week. I want you to take a look at what a food blogger did to drive home her point.
I love yoga. It is so amazing for your body and stress and well-being, but it really does make me really hungry. Wake up, people. Take a look at
You don't know where that mat's been, but that was Vani Hari, creator of foodbabe.com. She joins me now. I thought you were going to eat it live on national television, Vani, but you didn't.
Well, I already had to eat both, all 4 corners of that mat to get that shot, Dawn, so not again.
Yeah. You're going to hate me. We're going to talk about the chemical. I used to be part of Yoga Nation, and then all of a sudden I just stopped. Anyway, I still meditate, but no yoga. So listen, let's talk about this chemical. What exactly is it, and how does it affect our bodies?
Well, this chemical is called azodicarbonamide, and you'll find it in a lot of breads in the U.S. And Canada, but not the rest of the world. Actually, the rest of the world either bans it or will put you in prison or fine you $500,000 for using it. That's because there's the chemical, when heated, it actually degrades down into a compound that is carcinogenic, and the World Health Organization has deemed it an asthmatic trigger. It causes lung issues in workers who handle it, skin irritation, eye irritation. So this is a very dangerous chemical that's being used in our bread.
So this isn't just about I know a lot of people are going to get mad at me, the scam that is organic or natural. This isn't about that, right? Because
no, actually organic breads are not allowed to have this chemical.
Okay, because people talk about organic and natural and all that, and there's nothing wrong with science. That's what pasteurization, that's science. That helps. So every chemical in your food isn't necessarily a bad chemical, but you said this one in particular is, and it should not be in there.
That's right. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that you shouldn't eat plastic. This is a chemical that improves the elasticity of bread. It's just for appearances, really, and really to line the bottom line of the pockets of these big food industry giants like Subway. I mean, they were using this chemical because it was cheaper for them to produce the bread faster. So it's just a great thing that they've decided to finally take this ingredient out after me writing about it for over 2 years.
All right. Well, Van, is it just about bread? What else? Again, many other foods, right?
That's right. It's in McDonald's, Wendy's, Arby's. It's in Thomas's English Bagels. It's in Sara Lee. It's all over the place. And really, the FDA should look at completely eliminating this ingredient from our food supply.
So then why would it, we were talking again, you said there are carcinogens in this food. Obviously, Subway is removing it. You said it's in different things. So then why does the FDA then say it's fine? Because it's used in foods all over the U.S.?
Yeah, unfortunately, the FDA isn't really regulating our food, and it's definitely not regulating this specific chemical. Actually, they have no studies on file as far as how this chemical affects humans. So I don't see how they can approve these chemicals for use in our food supply without any studies. And it's really sad that these type of ingredients go unregulated, but the food industry is in the pockets of the FDA, and that's probably why.
Let me tell you, everything is, you should have eaten that yoga mat with a little ketchup, or if you do a little steak sauce and soy sauce and mix it together, then everything tastes better. So I'm having a little fun with you. Good on you. Thank you, Vanihari.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate
I
it.
appreciate it. And it's called thefoodbabe.com, thefoodbabe.com.
Some big changes for the world's largest sandwich chain this morning. This is a wild story. Subway announced it's removing a controversial chemical from its bread, an additive that's found in shoe soles and yoga mats to add elasticity. The ingredient, which is banned in Europe and Australia, it was first called into question by a popular food blogger who had pushed to have it removed. Senior medical correspondent Elizabeth Cohen is at the CNN Center with much more on this. Elizabeth, what is this chemical we're talking about?
Kate, the chemical is called azodicarbonamide, and it's used to make the bread stronger, to strengthen the bread. And Subway says, hey, it's safe. And they point out that the Food and Drug Administration says that it's safe, but Subway says that they are removing it as part of their bread improvement process. Quote, end quote.
End quote. Is this a very unusual case that this chemical is found in this bread? Is it found in other foods? I've never heard of it before.
Right. You probably haven't heard of it because you probably don't sit there and read the whole ingredients listing like most people don't. It's found in all sorts of breads, grocery store breads, restaurant breads. And, it's very hard to say, is it bad for you? Isn't it bad for you? The Center for Science and the Public Interest took a look and they said, you know what? In mice, it appears to be a carcinogen, but in humans, the increased risk of cancer is, they use words like slight, they use words like negligible. So they don't seem terribly worried about this, but the Center for Science and the Public Interest does say, let's get it out of breads. Why have it there? You don't need it, even if the increased cancer risk is negligible.
Yeah, I think, yes. As someone who is not educated on this whole thing, I'll acknowledge, I would prefer it not in the bread. I'll just have my bread additive free, right?
I mean, what the hell? It's like, this is like such a no-brainer. Why? It's in a yoga mat to make it stretchy, and you're going to put it in something I eat. It's just crazy.
Chris agrees.
What
That's
a
Chris
crazy
saying he
thing,
agrees.
Elizabeth. Just
You know,
crazy.
I think what the FDA would say is, look, there's no proof that it does anything
Great,
bad.
then let them eat it.
Right. Well, I'm sure they do, and I'm sure you and I do too.
I know.
Right, I'm sure we do in other regards. All right. Thank you, Elizabeth.
It
Thanks.
makes it stretchy, and it's in yoga mats.
I also think.
But the risk
and
is slight.
I know, but Elizabeth probably has a point, and I think she would agree with me. That's half the stuff we eat, we don't even know what's in it.
I know, but
like, that's our problem.
I think when you can catch it and improve it in the bread improvement process, how about just
Important to
making bread?
improve
That'd
our
be an
bread.
improvement. Holy cow.